Joining us now is Annie and Eazi Osakwe, with stories trending around the world. Hello, Annie.
Hello. I like Annie and Eazi. Very nice. That's a first. That's a first for me. Thank you, sir.
Very good. You're welcome.
How's everyone doing this morning?
Annie, doing great. How was your weekend?
It was good. It went by fast, but glad to be back with you all.
Let me put one more name there.
Okay.
Annie Eze Osakwe, the pride of Ogidi.
The pride of Ogidi. I really like that one. That one's gonna stick.
Yeah.
All right, let's get started. So, good morning to everyone out there watching. Thank you for starting your day and your week with us. Happy Monday. So, we start what's trending today with a video that's going viral on social media because it's another day and another case of a violent incident at an airport. This time, it involves a female passenger on an Ibom Air flight that was reportedly coming from Uyo to Lagos. Let's take a look at the video that has a lot of people talking online.
What did you do? What did you do? Did you mean? I came and with I came with
She's hitting me. She is hitting me. She's hitting me.
You heard the air hostess there saying she's hitting me repeatedly. And reacting to the videos on X, the director of public affairs at Nigeria's Civil Aviation Authority said, "When cabin crew ask you to turn off your phone before takeoff or landing, simply comply. I can't understand why simple routine issues would lead to incidents like this. Passengers need to understand that they have responsibilities, not just rights." Right now, more details are still emerging, but what we do know is that the videos were posted to social media late yesterday evening, and as we see, it shows this female passenger not only slapping a flight attendant, but also violently confronting airport security. Bigger picture, Ibom Air is a 6-year-old airline which has reached a number of milestones in the industry, including winning Best Airline of the Year for the last 4 years. And remember, all of this is happening in the context of airlines and travel, both being in the news because of the drama last week with K1 and ValueJet when they say he tried to board the plane with alcohol. And in the early hours of this morning, we saw Kwam 2 was already trending on Twitter. Ibom Air is trending on Twitter. And beyond the jokes, this is still a serious matter, you know. We see Kwam 2, they're calling this incident Kwam 2, you know. She wasn't immediately put in handcuffs, and that's something else people have been noticing. I'd like to get everyone's reaction, but Rufai, we can start with you.
I mean, that Kwam too, that thing just made me laugh. The truth is, we cannot condone any level of indiscipline. It's a regular procedure. Turn off your phone, put it in airplane mode or something. Just listen to them. Then it turns into a fisticuff. Please, we should go at that lady. And see, with due respect, it has to be said. You see, the way we behave in this country, we are so quick to blame our leaders, but when you check the behavior of people, it leaves much to be desired. We would like to see the treatment that will be meted out. We know this woman too will quickly film an apology in the coming days. But like the Punch editorial team said today in the editorial about Kwam 1, is the apology going to erase that part of the law? Because there must be punishment for actions. Simple as ABC. It must be seen that people are punished, not just apologies. All of this one now is because of the phone. What is so important in the phone that you can't turn off that you now go ahead, you are hitting a fellow woman? So NCAA would see how you will react to this. And I'm happy Michael Achimogu came here on Sunday and said, what Kwam 1 did in some jurisdiction is termed as terrorism. Although Kwam 1 has still been begging, you know. In fact, there's a new song, Dr. Abati, I don't know if you heard it, when he went to perform.
He's begging for forgiveness.
When he was performing in the Ikorodu Music City in Ikorodu, Ewe oriji ni mo ja, Ewe oriji mo ja o,
I'll do the drum.
Ewe oriji mo ja, Ewe oriji mo ja. He has given us a new song for it.
Wow.
But please, with due respect, let us do it right.
After.
Very quickly, I think this is why people are questioning what seems like a slap on the wrist for Kwamwan, because they're saying, okay, fine, if we're giving him a slap on the wrist, what happens to all these other people? Everybody is equal before the law. The law doesn't recognize celebrities, the rich, the common man, and so forth. It doesn't segregate. Everybody should be dealt with the same breath. So you see this lady being bundled off and so forth. So, okay, as airlines and as airport officials, they have the capacity to get somebody out of the way of an aircraft when they feel that person is posing a danger, and when the airline has made a decision to deny this person access or to fly on the plane. It's all about security. It's not because they're trying to make life difficult for you. A lot of people forget that these air hostesses, they're not waitresses. They're safety officials and security officials. Yes, they happen to dispense duties to make you comfortable during the flight, but their job on an aircraft or during a flight is to ensure everybody is safe and secure. So what this girl displayed was just, horrible behavior. Even as she was being dragged out, she couldn't just respect herself and get up and, alight from the flight herself. Very, very embarrassing. And this is why many people who are saying that the not the maximum punishment, but the punishment prescribed by the law should be enforced without prejudice to all. Some people will say, Kwamwan has apologized, but sentiment becomes difficult when you have this type of repeat offense. There's a man who caused a disruption on a flight from, was it from Lagos to Abuja to Lagos, on Ibom Air a couple of years ago. That man went to Kuje prison.
Yes,
he went to Kuje prison.
He was dragged out of I don't even know why this girl is not even in Kuje yet. Because I remember, I'm sorry. Because I remember, that was the exact thing this man was doing. Because when they were pulling the man was saying, is this how they are going to let me be? He was shouting obedience or something. The man went to prison immediately. So I don't know why this girl. I don't know. So we should be careful. Anyway. And Dr. Batiruku, before you start, there's also now a video on audio that has been released about how Kwamwan was saying in the rage of anger that who is Oshiname, the man that owned the airline, I will bring him down. Do you know who I am? I will bring it.
No, the name is Shoname.
Shoname. Yeah, Shoname, yes. I will bring him down. I don't know if you've taken that in your report. There's a new audio that they released just over the weekend to about Kwamwan when he was bragging. I will bring Shoname down. I will destroy. Who did they think they are?
Where he was saying that if he doesn't drink water, he gets excessively dehydrated.
You heard the...
Okay. Let's hear from Dr.
Now, Nigerians are very creative, very humorous people. Even in the face of the most serious issues, they extract comedy from it. I've seen a lot of memes. I've seen a lot of compositions by musicians on Instagram. I've seen also some musicians quickly rush into the studio, at least Portable. Jongo of Africa has already, given us, a chorus on it. And even Kwamwan himself has done this forigi, that's forgive me. He has also issued a statement saying he apologizes to Nigerians generally, specifically the president, the country, the Minister of Aviation, FAN, NCAA, and that he's a man who has contributed a lot to this country, but that this has happened and he has apologized. Now, what are the issues here? 2 incidents within a few days. The one with Akwa Ibom and Ibom Air, and then the one involving Kwamwan. I think Nigerians generally should learn a lesson from this, that where your right ends is where another person's right begins. And that as citizen, as you said in your introduction, you have both rights, you also have responsibilities. And if you violate the law, you will be sanctioned for it. Now, all this, I apologize, I beg, they don't do that in other jurisdictions. The same people who misbehave here, they will not do it in Heathrow. They will not do so at Washington Dulles. When they are among organized people, they behave very well. Now, what we're witnessing is the danger of this mentality, the big man syndrome, and the do you know who I am, assumption of many Nigerians. I think it's important for Nigeria to continue to insist on best practices and the rule of law. If you do the crime, you do the time. The fact that you know the president or you can write an apology is totally irrelevant because you can't do that in better organized societies. I know some people will say, well, Kwamwan has apologized, we should forget and forgive and go on. No. There should be some level of sanction to teach other Nigerians who would like to go to airports tomorrow, whether it's Ibom Air or another airline, to say, do you know who I am? Now I go to the lady. This lady, she was told to switch off her phone. And then they said she got angry, engaged in an altercation with the crew official, and she made for the fire extinguisher to hit the lady. I mean, it was on the basis of that airline officials and security moved her out. I've seen some comments, some people were saying, why did they expose her breast? Why did they? No, that's immaterial. It's our offense. That is the issue. Because both persons, both the lady and Kwamwan, they endangered the lives of other passengers. They disrupted airline operations. But I think the big issue here is the lesson that other people should learn. Because they saw the Kwamwan one, they say, oh, he's a big man. Then look at a lady, we don't even know her identity. I hope they will tell us who she is, what gives her the effrontery to want to hold up airline operations in that kind of disrespectful and idiotic manner. So I don't want to condemn the airline. I just want to say to every passenger, both now and in the future, to know that there are rules. This is a country based on the rule of law, on rules and regulations, and you must respect the rules. This is the reason why people drive on, what do they call it, one lane against the flow of traffic. And they will do it with impunity. This is why people will refuse to pay tax, and they will do it with impunity.
The question is,
there's a lot of lawlessness here.
Dr. Bati, doesn't government officials drive on one lane?
No, all of us.
So
it's everybody.
It comes from the
It's
top.
a Nigerian affliction.
Do politicians even respect the laws in this land?
Okay, it's a Nigerian affliction.
Doesn't government officials drive on one lane,
yes,
one way?
It does not
justify. Are they supposed to break the law?
No. The fact that other people are doing it, and so I can also do it, is not a defense in law.
It's not a defense in law.
He's a man that is caught, that is a criminal. So the important thing is that the moral firmament framework in this country requires everybody to respect the law. Otherwise, nobody has the right to come and say, I'm a big man, I'm entitled, I'm privileged. There's no such thing.
Absolutely. We'll definitely keep following that story as we learn more about the identity of the woman. But now, moving on to the management of former President Olusegun Obasanjo's Presidential Library, where they're demanding an apology from the EFCC after the library says the EFCC arrived on the premises hotel section in a, quote, gestapo-like operation that injured a number of people in the early hours of Sunday morning. In a statement, the Presidential Library says, quote, the invasion caused serious panic and chaos, leading to serious injuries among participants trying to escape the shooting, and that near carnage that resulted and caused terror among residents on the site. So it comes after the EFCC, for their part, says that suspects were arrested in a sting operation on Sunday. It happened because, according to the EFCC, they had credible intelligence about all of the suspects' involvement in internet crimes, and they reportedly arrested a number of young people, seized luxury cars, mobile devices, and other valuable items. All in all, the Presidential Library right now wants an official apology from the EFCC for causing all of this in what they said was, quote, gangster-like induced chaos. And, by the sound of it, this was a sting operation that became very violent, very quickly. So I'll take your reaction to this story.
You see, exactly, Dr. Abati, this is your answer. You see, when I tell you that these anomalies, this madness comes from the top echelons in this country, you argue with me but this is, in what sane country? Maybe we can say for America, because America is no longer sane under Trump. This is what an ICE will do. But in what sane country that has a democracy? You have an intel or someone, you come in a sting operation. You start to shoot sporadically in a place. Enter gestapo-like style. Because you want to pick up people. Endangering the lives of other guests that are there. If stray bullets had hit people now, and you see in all of this, EFCC will never take responsibility. It's not today the video. Do you see the video that was making the rounds about that woman that they broke into, they were looking for somebody that was living in the same block of flats. They broke into her, they destroyed her television set and destroyed many things, and they went like that. It's not today. So when we are talking about everybody must respect it, like everybody, I answer you, Dr. Abati. But in what sane country? You have traveled far and wide. In what sane country? You have other people you are going to track, then you go into the place, disrupt people's livelihood in the name of going to do a bust operation. In what sane country do you have people, politicians come out to say how they rig election and everybody's looking at them today? In what sane country do you have people committing all sorts of atrocious activities? In what same country do you have top politicians like Oshomole disrupting Airline? Till today, nothing has been done because, it's your word against mine. In what same country do you have people even telling airlines in some cases to wait that big man is coming, so they delay flights because big man is coming? So sometimes we talk as if Nigeria is a sane country. All of these things come from the top. In a country where the leadership shows a level of piety, respect for the law, definitely things will move better. It's because we have leaders that are not showing respect for the law, and people are learning so quick from these leaders. And as they learn so quick from these leaders, things move on. The issues that the EFCC is supposed to sort out, you hardly get anything from that. Is it not the same EFCC chief that was, if we don't bring with the evidence we have against Yahya Bello, today, where are we on that case? So, Dr. Abati, with due respect, you and I know, except you want to pontificate, that is not a sane country. You only respect the rule of law if you are not in power. Once you are in power and have affiliation, people violate the rule of law. But it must start with the leaders first, because it permeates into the people. So that's the point. Look at it again.
Well, while the argument about leadership by example is very valid, it's also valid to say that as a citizen, you don't have the right under the laws of the country to say because our leaders are misbehaving, I will also misbehave. Because a commissioner of police will drive against traffic, let me also drive against traffic. No. That kind of argument cannot hold, within the framework, within the theory, within what we know. But however, leaders behave badly. After all, Chinua Achebe said many years ago that leadership is the problem. Now to go directly to the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library. Now, Vitalis Otes, who is the managing director of the OOPL, is alleging, and the issues they are raising is, 1, invasion of private property. 2, violation of the rights of OOPL as a private, corporate concern. 3, the violation of the fundamental human rights of the persons who were at the venue on that day, many of them who, as a result of the chaos, got injured, panicked and all that. And the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library, they have said, as a corporate entity, they will make appropriate representations to the authorities to protest that this is not the way to act. 1, they said no warrant was presented to empower the EFCC to egress in or egress out of the premises. You can't just invade somebody's premises. That's what they are saying. Now, EFCC says, well, on the other hand, they had contacted the police station and that they had some kind of combined operation. Well, OOPL says that is not true. 3, they said they were acting on an intelligence tip-off that some Yahoo boys, internet fraudsters, were there, and that in Abeokuta they arrested about 10. Between Lagos and Abeokuta, they arrested about 90. So the question to raise here is that EFCC will have to respond to these allegations about the modalities of their operation and about what particularly transpired at the Obasanjo Presidential Library. Because here there's an institution, whose reputation is also being called to question. Because the insinuation is that they are saying, oh, that premises is like a haven for fraudsters. And they say that is not true. So the second issue is about the operation. So I think the ball is in the court of the EFCC to provide necessary clarifications and to respond to the posers that have been raised. Now, they said one Olakpade was the man who led the operation. Who is this Olakpade EFCC team lead who was saying he will shoot people, he will commit any atrocity? The only takeaway is that, well, EFCC is saying we are no respecter of persons. If it is indeed true that the persons who invaded the premises were EFCC officials, not some people in borrowed garments. They are saying, well, whether you are a former president or you are a top musician or whoever you are, we will do our job. That's the only part of it. But there are procedural issues that have been raised by Vitalis Otes that should be responded to.
Definitely. Another story we will be watching this week. So now, let's move to elections, where the Independent National Electoral Commission, or INEC, is officially backing extending voting rights to inmates or people in prison. The chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, made this declaration just days ago during a visit from the Comptroller General of Nigeria's Correctional Service to the Commission's headquarters in Abuja. Let's listen to what he had to say on the matter.
Aware that the right to vote is actually a human right, which cannot be taken away from a citizen on account of time being served in a correctional facility. In many parts of the world, including some African countries such as Ghana, Kenya, and South Africa, where our officials observed elections, inmates exercise the right to vote.
So the next step now is to work with the National Assembly to create a clear legal path to making this a possibility. And beyond making this a possibility from a legal standpoint, there are also the practicalities of how do you get inmates registered to vote? How do you create polling units? How do you educate the inmates or the voters about the candidates and their parties? Dr. Abati, we can start with you or Rufai or Vimbai, but how realistic is it that we actually see inmates voting? Absolutely. How realistic is it that we see inmates voting by 2027? And if we do, what's the impact of that on the outcome?
Well, gosh, I think the first thing that most people would say is this is not the priority. This is not the news that people are expecting from INEC. As much as we're looking for electoral reform and we're looking for, various amendments to make our electoral process more inclusive and smoother and more credible, this is certainly not the news that many people are expecting from INEC. However, having said that, there's several arguments for and against this. Internationally, I believe countries like the UK, United States, depending on the state that you're in, do not allow prisoners to vote. And that's because they say that you have to re-earn your social contract after you serve your sentence. However, several other countries do allow prisoners to vote. South Africa, the list is quite robust. But again, what are the modalities? How are we implementing this? Because just the ordinary PVC, just for you and I sitting here, for us to go and get that, is quite a daunting task. It's not an easy task. Yes, they've said that they want to migrate to a system where you might not need a PVC to vote in the next election and so forth. There are a lot of moving pieces here. But for me, I think the real issue is that we're not focusing on the primary issues, which is that how can we smoothen what we have tried tried and tested already. To make sure that's effective, priority number one. I'm not saying we shouldn't be inclusive. Bring the prisoners. Most importantly, bring people from the diaspora. However, it doesn't matter if the system, the fundamental operational elements of the system are flawed. And these are the issues that people have. Operations, our technical, we're trying to migrate to the technology of it. How enforceable is that technology in the court of law? We've seen that it's not. It's the ability that you have to use that data to contest or, to try and prove your victory and so forth is very limited. So these are the fundamental issues. Inclusion, yes, very big issue, but we can include even babies into the voters register if we like. However, if the system itself is intrinsically flawed, it's just going to create more voter apathy because people will just continue to lose trust in the system.
Okay, what does the literature say? In some countries, like Canada, in Quebec, in Manitoba states, prisoners are allowed to vote. The principle is that people who are in prison, they are still citizens and they can have a say. However, that is not the case in other jurisdictions. In some other jurisdictions, pre-trial persons who have not yet been sentenced are allowed to vote because they've not been convicted. So their rights basically have not been taken away from them. In the United States, 48 out of the 50 states allow people who are incarcerated, to still exercise their basic rights, including access to education, taking degrees. In India, it is forbidden for prisoners to vote. So there are examples in various jurisdictions. Here in Nigeria, where our system, our penal system, is punitive rather than considerate and corrective in the real sense. That is the problem. But it is something that can be looked at. In some other countries where they allow people to vote, you can look at the pre-trial persons example, because there are persons who are in detention. Their guilt has not been determined, so why exclude them? But the devil is in the details in terms of the logistics. Even people who are outside prison, they are not able to vote successfully, not to talk of a prison, which could become a center for manipulations and all kinds of challenges.
That's definitely a concern.
But it's important to look at it as we talk about penal reform, as we talk about, electoral reform.
Definitely. Leaders and the country at large are mourning the passing of the former national chairman of the PDP, Chief Audu Ogbe. His passing was announced in a statement from the family where they described him as a patriarch who left a major legacy of integrity and dedication to Nigeria. The statement read in part, "It's with deep sadness that we announce the passing of our beloved husband, father, and grandfather. He passed away on the 9th of August at the fulfilled age of 78. He departed peacefully, leaving behind a legacy of integrity and dedication to our nation and community. We're comforted by the many lives he touched and the example that he set." President Bola Ahmed Tinubu also describing him as a true patriot whose wisdom, dedication, and pursuit of progress left an indelible mark on Nigeria's political landscape. He came from Benue State and was appointed communication minister in 1982. From 2001 to 2005, he led the PDP and also later served as the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development during President Buhari's first term. May his soul rest in peace. Now to some good news. With all roads either leading to Miami or Iceland this past weekend, with 2 major celebrity weddings taking place. Afrobeat star Davido and his wife Chioma having theirs in Florida, while Temi Otedola and singer Mr. Eazi had theirs in Europe. Davido and Chioma, their wedding weekend ended with a moment from their white wedding ceremony just yesterday. So the couple arrived in Miami last week, and fans have been watching the celebrations online. Take a look at this moment from the after party, where D'banj performed his famous song Fall in Love for the couple on the dance floor. So there were also moments like the ones you're about to see, from their pre-wedding party showing the couple, their closest friends and family at a Cuban-themed Havana Nights party. Keep in mind, this is also the couple's third wedding celebration. They first had a court wedding in 2023, a traditional wedding in 2024, and now their white wedding in 2025, capping off another celebration for one of the country's most followed and loved love stories. This weekend also saw the wedding of Temi Otedola and Mr. Eazi. And while this one seemed to be a little more private, pictures like the ones you're about to see have surfaced online showing the newlyweds walking out of a church in Reykjavik in Iceland. There's definitely been a lot of interest in this couple as well, ever since a moment when they announced their engagement about 3 years ago on the set of one of Mr. Eazi's music videos. As of now, the couple hasn't released any official pictures, no official videos from the wedding, but I'm sure a lot of people will be keen to finally see them when they do come out.
Well, thank you very much. And as for the newlyweds, either in Iceland or in the US, congratulations to them. And may the blessing of the wedding at Canaan, as reported in the book of John, also be upon all the spinsters and bachelors of Arise News. And may your blessings arrive, in your favor.